Hello and welcome to Magetalk, the Magento community podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Kalen.
There he is. What's going on?
What in the crap is going on, sir?
You know what's super nice right now is that I'm not in a hotel room trying to get through on hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So that's super helpful.
Also, it's not the middle of the night, so we've hopefully got a tiny degree of energy to bring to bear.
Almost like we're getting good at this.
It's almost like we know what we're doing here a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Well,
today is kind of crazy. Today we're doing some different stuff, right? We're like something we've never done before. Pretty stoked about it. Pretty stoked. I'm typing in the live chat.
Should be fun.
You know what we haven't done on any live stream in the last 6 or 8 weeks since we started this, though, is we haven't ever given some love to our sponsors.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Maybe we should do that at the top before we get
lost.
Let's
do that. Let's give some love.
All right.
Let's
Magetalk is brought to you. Magetalk is brought to you by our sponsors. We love our sponsors. Thank you to Mage Mojo for making today possible. If you're looking for hosting, check out Mage Mojo and their Stratus Cloud product. You can rest assured the Mage Mojo's got your site under control with the best SLA in the entire hosting industry. They can do it all. They can do enterprise cloud. They can do Magento open source, Magento 1 and Magento 2, and they're going to hook you up. So head on over to magemojo.com. That's magemojo.com/magetalk and sign up today. And we'll work another one in later on. Thanks to Eric Heilman and the entire crew over at Mage Mojo for the continued support of Magetalk.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of practice on that.
Yeah, you do. That was fantastic. By the way, did you update their ad recently? Because it's really good.
Yeah, nice I got the Stratus ad in there. We're working on trying to update some of the messaging for some of our sponsors, which is kind of cool.
That's beautiful. We have some people in the chat making fun of not making fun. They're talking about all of the like common sponsors that sponsor podcasts, like
Casper, Audible,
Squarespace. Yeah. We should just throw Audible in there. You know, it just for the sake of it. Right?
We should or not. We could also not do that.
You could really take that decision either of two ways. I mean, you really can.
I could take it. I could leave it. I'm gonna leave it.
You could take it and leave it.
You want to talk about what our hope today is to do some really cool stuff, because this came out of an online sort of back and forth, and I'd love to get into it, because I think we could probably spend the entire time on this.
Yeah, let's do it. So how did this originate?
Yeah.
How did this originate? We were saying that I think you had maybe tweeted like, hey, I'm gonna do some you've been doing a bunch of streaming. You've been doing some Twitch streaming, which is really cool. The only thing that's crazy about the Twitch streams is they give you like a full-on 18-minute pre-roll ad for some video game for every it's like I think it's like 45 seconds or so. It's fairly beefy, but yeah. So anyway, I think you had tweeted it, and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to do that too. So maybe one of these days, if we can work it out like how your Twitch streams do, where your head is in the bottom of the screen, maybe both of our heads are in the bottom of the screen, and then we review sites. That'd be kind of fun. But what we're gonna do for now is just use the Hangouts on Air screen share tool.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to turn off my site notifications, and I'm going to close a couple tabs just in case anyone. I'm just kidding. We don't need you seeing my company email. So this is actually, for me, how it sort of came about was there's a menswear brand that showed up for me, like Faherty, I think is who it is. For some reason, Facebook thinks that I'm done with my jean jacket phase, and my next phase of hipster is I need to buy a poncho. So I'm not kidding. They think I need a poncho.
What's next? Is that what's next?
I'm going to be wearing the poncho, my friend.
Wow. I'm so glad they came back, because I got my wife a poncho from Ecuador when I was there. Beautiful poncho. Bought it from people there that make them by hand. Absolutely beautiful. She only wears, she's never worn it before. She just uses it as a blanket when she's cold. And so I'm excited that they're coming back into style, because,
You've never seen a poncho like this. If you've ever thought to yourself, I have $210 that I don't know what to do with, you know what I should do? I'll buy a poncho.
You've
This
never
is the
thought that
site for
before.
you. No.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway, so I went there to check it out. Actually, turns out they're a pretty cool full family brand. They even have kids clothes. They do all kinds of really interesting stuff. We could talk a little bit more about them. That's not what this is about. But they did have an interesting thing where the model in the product shots, they gave the measurements of the model and the size of the clothes that he was wearing on their product detail page right next to the photo. And so immediately I was like, oh, like I'm like 7 pounds heavier than this guy at most. And he's wearing a medium and it looks like pretty roomy. I think I could fit that, right? Like I know my measurements, and it gave his sort of, almost like a basketball player. Like he's 6'1" and blah, blah, blah. So it had all this really cool stuff. And I felt like, wow, that's something I hadn't seen before. I wish all brands did that. I tweeted about that. And then, a bunch of other people sort of jumped in and said, here's, some other brands that do some cool stuff too. So yeah, I thought maybe we could kind of look at some sites together. That'd be kind of nice.
Absolutely. That'd be great. And by the way, we should mention this sort of dates back really the predecessor to this, although this is going to have a much more positive spin on it, is the e-commerce Hall of Shame. Very popular
e-commerce Hall of Shame.
Very popular segment in Magetalk historically. So, yeah. So this is going to be.
What should we start with? Do we know? Are we going to solicit from the audience? Is that what
well, we've began soliciting. We've made some solicitations. Nobody's responded yet. I think that.
From our audience, they're not engaged with us. Are you serious? I'm absolutely shocked. I'm shocked and appalled.
I did get one response on Twitter, which was from Irfan, who we've had on the show for Specs. We've talked a little bit about Specs. I don't know if we did much of a detailed drill down into it though. So that's SPEQS. So we could check them out. I also got some responses on Twitter telling us to look at Commerce Hero, but I'm afraid to do that. So we can skip that unless we really start scraping the bottom of the barrel. So that could be a fun one to start.
You want to do this? You want to do Specs, or you want me to do Specs? How do you want to do this?
I want you to do Specs. I feel like you are raring to go, and I want you to get your teardown on.
Ooh.
So
here's our all right. Okay, so this is the homepage, speqs.com. First thing I see, full site secure. Good job, everybody. Pretty
good work.
Excited about that.
Solid work on that, people.
I wonder if this works if I make the site small. Oh, sweet. Whoa, look at that. Hold on, that's pretty cool. Look at this. Okay.
Wait, what just happened? Did it just flippity flip?
Yeah, look, but okay. First things first, man, they really crushed the homepage. So at a wide like laptop style aspect ratio, the image is on the left, text is on the right. That's a pretty common sort of top left to bottom right, eye tracking pattern. And there's a very clear book an appointment. So there's like a very clear call to action. But when you do this number for like a smaller tablet, or even let's see, let's go down here. Hold on.
Probably it flips. That's pretty finesse.
Although it looks terrible on like a medium. Hold on.
You may need to refresh it, because sometimes
I did.
Oh yeah, that does look bad.
It's no bueno.
Lot of blank space there.
But I think what's really cool is the way that they sort of flip the orientation based on the size of the page, which is actually I really like. So big props there. Sticky header, search bar visible at all times. So I think like right off the bat, I kind of like this a whole lot.
Sticky header could be a tiny bit more finesse, right? Like where with the sticky header where it disappears as you're scrolling and then it only shows up once you scroll upward.
Yeah.
Or a more minimal sticky header as you scroll.
You know what you could do is why don't you click on my camera so it stays on me while we're kind of reviewing.
I actually did. Yeah,
okay. Actually smart. Did. Yeah, freaking smart, Kalen. You're so smart.
Yeah, man. I've been doing this for a while now.
A few sort of things that I think is really smart is their categorization is really prioritized for shopping right up top. book an eye test. It looks like, from the homepage perspective, that's, their top, like that's the number one thing they want you to do. So
Right.
yeah, I'm guessing that's sort of their lead gen channel, is to get people to book an eye test, and then from there they could buy their glasses. It's pretty obvious though, like they've merchandised the homepage. That looks pretty cool. But it's not shoppable. So that's kind of a bummer.
It's not shoppable. What do you mean? You can't.
I
What do
can't
you mean?
add to the cart from the homepage.
Got it. No quick ads. Okay, fair enough.
I also
Fair
can't
enough.
see on the homepage. I cannot see if
That
there's other
said,
colorways, right?
other colorways.
Yeah, colorways is a common term in fashion for the same style but in a different color. And if I click into Livorno here, you'll see there are other colors in the same style available, but it doesn't even tell
God,
me that. I feel like I should see that.
you're so far beyond me with fashion e-commerce experience. It's a little bit embarrassing. But one thing I will say, I have to say is that who is going to add a prescription eyeglasses to cart from the browse screen without even clicking into the product detail page?
Come on, man.
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing that?
That's never happening.
But there's no
That's
call
not
to
gonna
action. Like there's no button or anything that tells me what I could do next with it. It's just literally like a
Yeah. It almost like I wasn't even entirely sure if they were clickable. Like there's not even much of a hover state, I don't think.
right.
I mean, this is a clear opportunity. There's a slight opacity on hover. I
Yeah,
feel like you've got a
very slight.
clear opportunity on hover to show maybe a picture with a model, right? Like maybe a picture of
Yeah. Like
somebody.
an on
There's
model
probably
shot. Yeah, for sure.
I knew there was a term for that, and I knew you'd know the exact term for it. An on model shot would be
Yeah.
beautiful for the hover there.
Can I make another
Um,
suggestion actually? Like
Please
so
do.
so the
Absolutely.
shoppable thing is interesting right up top, right? But here's I think actually more compelling is this. So they're telling this modern collective 145, 84 Italian inspired designs, shop men, shop women's. They're telling that story way after you've seen a bunch of glasses. I feel like that should be prioritized. I feel like that needs to be way up here because that's a huge point for me is that we have 84 designs. They're $145, shop men, shop women. So if I'm a man, like if I'm motivated in a particular way, I have an opportunity to shop that. I don't know if these are unisex. Like some of
That's
these
true.
like very catty, the Janus here does not look like a men's
You
style.
could pull that off. I mean, you have a strong Metro vibe, so you could pull off those
I've
cat
been
glasses
told
for
I'm
sure.
catty. I've been told on more than one
No,
occasion I'm catty.
I'm going to agree with you there. I think that definitely feels like it should be a hero shot
Yeah.
up there. And then we've got
Yeah.
a nice newsletter sign up there. Pretty standard. Got a few fields in there.
Okay.
Styles I'm interested in.
Nice big footer. Nice big footer.
Nice big footer. Yeah, I'm digging
Okay.
that.
Digging that from a
Okay.
homepage perspective. And what do you think about the PDP? Let's go over to the PDP.
Let's look at the PDP. Let's pull her up. Nice little loader as that loads up, which I'm liking.
Yeah,
Um,
this works in the way you'd expect. The gallery is swipeable, it looks like. So that's kind of nice.
Fonts are kind of small. I mean, the navigation fonts feel a bit small to me. It's hard to say because I'm
Yeah.
looking at your screen, so
Why don't we do this?
not sure if I
Oh
should.
yeah. Look at that.
That's an interesting green color. Not quite sure how I feel about
Ugh.
that green color.
Ugh. Oh, the green buy with prescription.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, I've really liked all of the colors on the site. That one feels like it clashes a bit.
You know, what I find interesting is that the mobile. I feel like the call to action on mobile is really wide and very obvious and very mobile-y, right? But on
Yeah,
desktop, it's super deprioritized in comparison with everything else, right?
yeah, yeah.
It constrains to the same width as everything. I feel like I almost want more of the mobile experience on the desktop. The other thing I don't like here is that they hijack the back button keyboard shortcut.
Okay.
So I'm hitting the back button right now, and it's
Yeah.
cycling through the products. I hate that. That drives me crazy. Just from a usability
Really.
sort of perspective, it needs to work the way that I expect
You
it
got to
to.
respect the back button. Absolutely.
I do like this though, sort of the like very detailed shots. Measurements. I like that too. These are all text, which is nice. It's not just images, so it's, more accessible than, I kind of assumed that it would be. I really like that.
Yeah, that's helpful. I've never really bought prescription glasses, but I'm sure that's those measurements are like you were saying with regard to like buying shirts. I'm sure
You
those
mean like
measurements.
online? You've not bought them online?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I bought them in person once, and I have
Right.
I have no idea what my size is as far as the number of inches or whatever. Great photography.
Really?
Absolutely beautiful
Yeah.
photography. Product photography is so important. I keep one of the side business ideas I've had for a few years is like a product photography service, specialized, productized niche service to do. I think there's a couple out there, but really nice photography. Jeez. Makes such a big difference with an e-commerce site.
Yeah.
Those font sizes are really low.
It's
Wow.
weird, right? I feel like there's an opportunity too for the like on the font front. um
Yeah. What else?
you know what? This seems weird. I feel like okay, so you see down here in the bottom left, there's usually like when I'm hovered over like a clear, obvious link, it tells me where it's going to go. Oh, you probably can't see that. I don't know if you can see that. It tells me, it
No,
usually
status
tells you
bar.
in Chrome in the like status bar at the bottom left where I'm going to go. I don't get that on the prescription. So that tells me it's probably like a modal state, which
Like a
is really,
JavaScript.
yeah. Oh, and it is. Ah,
You just got modaled. That's a very you just got modaled.
you just got
That's a
modaled.
By the way, Emily likes my product photography service idea. So I'm just saying. Hashtag just saying. And then Andrew said it looks like they tried to hit a balance between both layouts where little
Yeah.
changed between them. That's always handy.
Yeah.
But that modal looked that's a very different looking UI. I almost wonder whether that's like a third party plugin or something like that. It's a
I don't
very
know. Let's find out.
different feeling UI color scheme from the rest of the site.
No, I don't think it is. It looks very. Oh wait. Oh, it's a Magento UI component.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like
Maybe
I
just the
feel
colors are
yeah,
throwing me off a little bit.
it looks like a UI component. Oh, maybe. I do like the UX of this. It's really clearly laid out. Like it looks nice. It flies in a very quick, sort of pretty way. I
Mm,
wish it were deep linkable, right? Like I wish this was a real link.
yeah.
Something tells me it's not accessible. Gallery. Something tells me it's not accessible from it. Like, come
Oh
on.
man, you're gonna have to do a whole accessibility drill
Well,
down on
yeah,
this. By the way,
that's a whole can of worms. It
that's a
actually
whole
keyboard wise, actually it is keyboard. Ooh, ooh, it's very keyboard accessible. So look at what it's done here.
wow.
It highlights the escape action, so it captures keyboard focus.
Yeah.
So you see how like I can probably hit the escape key and it goes away, and it returns my keyboard focus back to buy with prescription. So that's actually phenomenal,
Oh wow.
and like really thoughtful. So whoever, I'm just using keyboard to navigate right now, but who's ever done
Cool.
this just did a fantastic job because that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think from like if we want to do more than one of these, we probably need to boogie. But I think from a good like as a start, this is really good.
Oh yeah, beautiful site. Beautiful site.
Yeah.
By the way, Andrew did agree with me. Modal's a little funky, colors and shapes. They have circles, hard edges, and monochromatic with color highlights for all the other elements.
Right.
But yeah, beautiful site. Really interesting product that they're building. Obviously, we did a whole interview with him on the app, the
Yeah.
native app, strategy that they've done, which is cool. And the augmented reality stuff that they're doing is super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
If you want to check out that interview, it's episode 163, Irfan Imani. And the title of that episode is How to Be Good at Flappy Bird. So
there you go. There you go. By the way, should we give a quick note to people listening along by audio in the future?
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know if this is going to be good for audio, but we're going to try.
this is going to be tough for audio. We'll mention the URLs of all the sites that we look at, so you can follow along.
Do you say Ural? Do you really?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh
I just said that to be
I almost
ironic.
died a little.
Said that ironically.
Yeah.
Some people do say that seriously, though, right?
I think so. They say Earls, Urals, Urals.
Well, post your Urals in the chat if there's anything that you want to see. So, what do we got next?
I don't know what is next.
We could have gone on that one for a long time, but you just transitioned us out. So.
But I kind of like looking at a bunch of different ones.
Well, then let's do it.
Let's look at.
While you're doing that, while you're doing that, I'm just going to demo some of the swag I received while you pull up that next site. I made a few purchases from the Magento swag store. We got a rubber ducky. Okay. I've got the interrupt me whenever you're ready with that next site. I've got the fidget spinner, Magento themed fidget spinner.
Look at that.
This thing is possibly the most long lasting fidget spinner I've ever seen. It's not like I've seen a lot of them, but this will literally go, I mean, this will go and go and go for like a solid, like, I don't know. This will probably go for like 3 minutes straight. And then I've got some sunglasses. I've got some shades, some solid shades. Okay.
Whoa, those are pretty cool looking.
These are pretty cool. Lastly, so this is hilarious. So I ordered the Magetalk Expert Napper.
Did you really?
I did. And here's the thing. This is going to be a huge letdown. It arrived. And here it is, completely blank white pillow. So I emailed them. Are you kidding me
right now?
Yeah, I emailed them about it. It was a mistake. So they're shipping me out a correction. It's going to take like 20 business days to get here.
How in the world is that even possible from a QA perspective?
I don't know. They just said they hit some kind of a snag.
Oh my gosh. So, by the way, both of the Teespring shirts that I have received are really awesome. I like them both. So I have the hair on fleek one, and I have the what's the other one we did? Oh, the cartoon, the Atwix logos, the Atwix characters. I'm waiting for Kyle Bansavage and Andrew Sanjuala to give us the URL. They're Earls.
Yeah. Give us remember, this is no press is bad press. You got to remember that. This is free advertising. And if you want to do Karma's Hero, we could do that. That's fine.
By the way, you just put on your glasses on the sly. Just kind of slipped them on there.
I keep doing that.
Whole latte love. Okay, let's do it. You ready?
Oh, I think Andrew said moderation is blocking them, but he posted.
Got it.
Just spell it out. Just spell it out or something. Like, do what you got to do. All right. We can also look at Magento. I got some replies on Twitter with some issues on we could look at the Magento homepage too.
How about we tread lightly on that one? How about we not do that? It seems like a good idea to not do that. Okay. Fair enough. Very different kind of a site here. I like this.
Hey, there we go. Ban Savage. Good work. We're proud of you. We've got what we've got. Whole lotta love.
Latte. Whole latte love.
Whole latte love. I'm such a goof trooper.
Whole
latte love. You can check that out at.
Let me crank this up.
WholeLatteLove.com. 2 T's. Everybody knows how to spell latte. Who am I kidding?
So I love the SVG logo. It's really, really crisp. That looks nice. Okay, where do we start? Ooh, it looks like there's one broken up here. Hold on.
Let's start at the beginning.
Maybe I broke it.
Good Father's Day promo. You know what's funny about Father's Day promos is I'm not sure exactly what day it is. So whenever I see them, I look for a date. I'm like, when is Father's Day? I can't actually remember what the day is that I will be forgotten and not given any gifts. So that that could be helpful. A lot of Father's Day stuff, which is good. Yeah. Very timely.
You know how you know without even trying to look for it, whether it's a Magento 2 site or not?
How do you know?
Just this is the way I know. There's this whole bit of garbage at the end of the URL. Right.
Oh, really? The SID? That's an M2 thing. I remember I've seen that
that's like a hangers on from the old M1 sort of.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about, so at the top of the screen, the cart icon with the number of items in the cart, which is 0.
Yep.
And it's got the white on red, right? Like notification bubble style to it, but it's empty.
Right.
How do you? I feel like that because those notification bubble type things are so visible. I feel like you shouldn't throw that up there until you've got something in the cart.
It's a good question. Let me check Magento 20. Let me check my local. Oh, I'm on Venya. Hold on. Let me look at Star Accelerator. I really hope
Here's
it's
where Phil's going to do some
ugh.
blatant self promotion of something digital.
No.
I have been hearing Phil from more and more people. Um,
I can't remember if Magento's Luma by default shows that 0 or not. While we're waiting for a never used site to load. I don't know. I don't have an opinion about it, honestly. I think what I would like to see though is some sort of there's no standard with the way that people do this mini cart. If I click on that, I would not expect that it takes me to a shopping cart page in 2018. But it does, right?
you want to see a little mini
I feel
cart
like it
pop
just
up.
needs to be a mini cart, It needs to be it's like stateful,
I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that.
I'm just looking at the code.
By
Okay.
the way, quick thing
It
as I'm
doesn't. Yeah.
googling
Yeah, it
as I'm
doesn't. Luma
googling
does
for
not
it.
do that by default.
Yeah, quick thing as I'm googling for it. Maybe I should share my screen
You
too,
should share your screen as well. Maybe we should do
we
that.
can flip
And then
back and
like
forth or something like that.
then it'll look like it's like completely on crack as the site just jumps back and forth. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be kind of wild. I noticed while Googling for whole latte love, there's a Google ad that shows up. A lot of people run Google ads on their brand name, but then the organic search result is literally the very next search result. So I know you could argue that back and forth as to whether it's necessary to run brand ads, but you can make an argument it's maybe not necessary in this case because they're the first result with a nice expanded search result there. So um,
Yeah, yeah, possibly. It's usually cheap. Branded search, your own branded search usually comes up pretty cheap.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, they are usually more affordable. Let's
one
talk about
thing.
this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing that my UX team will complain about if they look at this. They would say that rotators are like day passe. Like
Yeah,
who does rotators anymore? What's funny though is we've been saying that for 3 years, and every single site build that we do, every single client asks for a rotator. So I
yeah,
think it's one of those things where it's like UX people hate rotators and they hate modals, but they continue to work and people still like use them and they want them. Um, the other thing I would mention is that the Father's Day stuff is like it's all in the image, so it's not like this text isn't actually indexable. It's not really searchable.
right.
You know, but that is what it is.
I want to have some
That's
images
very.
there.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's not like a deal breaker.
Yeah. By the way, Emily did mention the M2 Luma theme does not show the bubble when
Yeah.
there's 0 results in there. We've also got Daniel Nettleton, resident espresso parts expert, in the room here. So we'll see if he has anything useful
Hey
to
Daniel,
add
can
to
you go
the
ahead and tear
conversation.
your competitor apart on live in the chat? That'd be
Go ahead
awesome.
and tear them up. No, they seem to all be quite friendly. Um, oh, let's talk about this the promo bar at the top. It's kind of like a hello bar,
Yeah. Whoops.
which beckons takes us
Beckons.
back to our very
Harkins.
first harkens back to our very first Mage Talk episode where we talked about the hello bar.
Yeah. And I've been
Um,
using Hello Bar ever since on literally everything that I do.
using it ever since, literally everywhere. So I'm looking at this. It's an interesting thing. There's a logo in the middle. Oh, I guess that's their logo. It's like a little bean with wings and an angel or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then shop art, it's kind of rotating things out. I feel like the first thing I'm noticing is there's a lot of stuff happening there, and I'm not sure. Like there's the left side and the right side. Like that's kind of unique. It's not a single.
Right.
Usually you get a single call to action in your hello bar. Kyle said
Yeah.
they call that the angel bean, which is
I
kind of
love
dope. But
I love
they've got like a dual hello bar thing going, dual calls to action, which is kind of interesting. Interesting
I think
take
it
there.
sells to a lot of different people. Their information architecture looks pretty well considered. Like there's one thing that I hate if I could, one thing I absolutely loathe is when a company is so like enamored with itself that like 10 of the 13 links in the top navigation are our story, who we are, read more about us. And I'm like, get over yourself. I just want to buy. And it's broken out in like very clear ways. And there's like, oh, well, accessories falls below the fold on, like, I have to scroll, but at least it doesn't break as I scroll. So that's pretty good.
I don't know. I
It's
have to
nitpicky
say,
though. I mean, it's like for like this honestly looks like you have a ton of things to shop for as opposed to to specs where you have like 100 products. This looks like it has like thousands of products and it's nicely organized.
yeah, I have to say that by the way, I started sharing my screen now, and so now
Yeah.
when each one of us is talking, you're gonna see what each one of us is looking at. I like to see an Our Story link in the top nav. Maybe not, like them falling all over themselves with 17 different links, but I like to see one link. I like to know a little bit about the story. It's funny when we started talking about the blue bar, Kyle said, "No, not the blue bar." So apparently there's something there. Question from Daniel: how do we feel about the number of main categories there in the nav bar? That's funny. I had noticed that there felt like there was a lot of links in there. I think it was kind of subconsciously. It felt like a bit much was going on there. Um, it's funny how sometimes something subconsciously you'll kind of think of, but then you won't really think to say it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff there. First of all, there's sort of a two-tiered top nav plus the hello bar at the top. So there's sort of like three tiers.
Yeah.
And then the main tier with the product categories has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 links, which is maybe pushing it a little bit, maybe pushing it tiny bit.
I'm curious what I'm going to go back to the homepage because I'd actually jumped out of the homepage, but I'm curious what their H1 is on their homepage. They've got a lot of H1s on their homepage. Oh, wait, no, that's meta stuff. Hold on. Where is it?
While you're checking that out, another question from Daniel. Do you think they should mention their free shipping somewhere more obvious? I love how Daniel is low key tearing them up. It's so beautiful and gentlemanly of him. Probably should. Yeah, I don't think I noticed free shipping anywhere. So that would probably be helpful. We got to drill in though, because people like to focus a lot on the homepage, and that's really not where all the action is. So.
You know what? I do want to say one other thing, which is they've done their so look at this. They've done this accessibly. So instead of having images that represent like their product categories in this like sort of catalog-y sort of layout, this actually looks really nice in that it's the image. There is a hover state which looks pretty nice, but it's actual text. Like it's actual text that's like over top. It's selectable text that can be indexed, which is great. They don't do that in the rotator, but that's understood. Like that's understandable. But all of the others are done that way, and I'm curious. I was looking to see. It looks like they're doing this with Bootstrap, which is interesting. Why they would be doing Bootstrap? So they must have like
can confirm or deny.
But I really do kind of like this, and I mean they do have like 11 H1s on the homepage, which not everything's that important.
Andrew said that is admittedly a first foray into demonstrating live text to our fearless leaders.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Let's look at some of these things. So the link at the top, when I click compare products. So I guess this is supposed to take you into when you've added, it says you have no items to compare. So
it's a problem. This is a common Magento 2 problem.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen that before. Like you have to the UX for product comparison in Magento is just not great. So you actually have to go to a category page or a product detail page and click this add to compare button.
Mm-hmm.
This, which for them is actually a nice, the UI, like this iconography is pretty nice there.
Oh yeah, the little scale. That's cute. I like that. Yeah, so it's almost like that compare top nav link shouldn't pop up until there are some things in the comparison cart. What do you call that?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
let's see here. What else? Let's check out their product photography here. Espresso machines. Okay, looking good. Hey Phil, you want to drop 9 grand on a Jura Giga X7 Professional?
Yeah, absolutely I do.
Piece of
100%.
cake. Piece of cake. You can earn
So first
2% back in.
impressions, if I can, I do think like from a layered navigation perspective, it looks like they have, their information architecture is really clear. They have nice, sort of categorization and very, very sort of run of the mill Magento 2, you know, Magento 2, just like a layered navigation approach. No multi-select. It probably isn't Ajax. No, it's not. But it's the site's fast as far as Magento 2 is concerned, right? That's pretty sweet.
Should I open up Lighthouse?
Do it.
Let's do this.
We didn't do this to anyone else, so might as well.
Let's get right into it. Let's perform an audit live and on the fly. Hey, where's the button?
It says run audit. It's right there.
No, but it was getting blocked by my little
Oh.
Google Hangouts stop sharing modal. That was confusing. Right,
While you're doing that, while that's waiting, can I do? I do want to say like super smart. Love this to death. High priced items have high purchase consideration times, and they require a lot of like thought from a consumer to purchase. And so offering financing like as your like main call out, like your main call to action over and above like even the add to cart is super smart. So I think it's really smart that they're offering that. My next question would be, am I going to see the same sort of a call out on cups and saucers? And no, I do. Well, that's out of stock. Let me just double check.
Hey, let's take a look at that Mulan saucer.
Whoa, look at this. That's smart.
That's finesse. I like that.
You like that? I like that. Yeah, they're reinforcing the current sale in the product detail page, which I think is really smart.
Perfect.
I kind of want to see what it looks like on mobile, which is yeah, it's kind of the same.
Kyle also said to try the add to cart or customize button, which was visible back on the high ticket espresso machine page.
Got it. All right, so add to cart or customize. Oh yeah, this is the Magento 2 bundle approach, which I super like. They're all checkbox. So it's really just upsell. It's add accessories, add care products. Not really. I mean, I wouldn't call it a customizer. Maybe it's the wrong kind of a product. Some products actually have different like pieces that might come along with it that you would probably have to. I don't know. Maybe I'm splitting hairs because this is all I ever think about and do. So taxonomy is kind of important. But this is cool. Oh man, the product specs section looks really good. I like the expand on show more. Holy cow, you guys have a lot of information. Ooh. The pen, I mean, like
when you're making a purchase decision and you're deep into researching different products and stuff like that, it's so important to have everything out there. When I recently bought a camera, a DSLR, and there was one thing that was very important, which is whether it has clean HDMI out.
Yes.
And it was weird that on a lot of product pages, it didn't say whether or not it had it. With the old Canon camera I bought. And on this one random CNET page, which ranked really highly on Google, they said that it had it. So I was like, oh, cool, it has it. But it wasn't on the product detail pages. It turns out they didn't actually have it. So that was fun.
Man, this is So a lot of times, especially when you're like a distributor, or reseller like these guys are, you don't have like this kind of information is really hard to come across. And it's even harder to sort of aggregate it and present it very cleanly. And it's even harder to have that from multiple manufacturers and getting it into like a format, like into an information architecture that makes sense for your site and your industry and particular products you sell. So I mean, this is, I'd almost like, I don't know, do you guys have a PIM? Because I'd love to hear how you're getting that information into the e-commerce platform. It sounds like it's a full-time job probably for somebody to only think
Yeah,
about
and
that.
Daniel said he wishes he could stick that much info on a PDP. So apparently they're doing something right there.
Oh no, we've got a live chat pop. Go away, Mark Sapart agent.
Should we troll your live chat? Andrew said his PIM is slave labor. So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. No PIM yet.
Gosh.
Hey, let me see if my audit is done. Goodness. Okay, audit is done. Here we go. Let me flip back over. Okay, we've now, this is interesting because these numbers can be sort of random. Let's start with the good news first. We've got a 90 for SEO. We're in the green. Best practices, we're at a 50. Accessibility 59, progressive web at 45, and performance we're at a 4.
Performance is at a 4.
Performance is at a 4. First meaningful paint, it says, is 8,500 milliseconds or 8 seconds.
You know, if you expand that, you know what it says? It says you're running Magento 2.
That's interesting. First interactive. That just measures.
That's brutal. 44 seconds. That's not right.
There's got to be something going on, like a straggler JavaScript or something.
Well, it's almost like you're live streaming while performing a performance audit. You know, it's like you've got other things going on.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on here. Looks like some JavaScript could be minified. Off-screen images consider lazy loading. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 44 seconds is certainly not the first interactive. There's things that are breaking the Lighthouse score. I totally understand. All right. Well, I think from a lots of, gosh, you got so much information on a page like that. You know, like the you got a lot of competing priorities, and you got a really heavily segmented catalog. You got a lot of products of a varying product type and categorization perspective. So there's a lot competing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think one question that Sam asked was, should they be highlighting the newsletter subscribe in a pop-up? I obviously have some thoughts on that. What do you think? What's your feeling on newsletter pops?
Here's my take on it. If you have a really clean operation on the marketing side where you're consistently sending email and they're valuable to the customer, then yes, you should be bothering somebody to subscribe to the newsletter and telling them what they'd get out of it. If you're doing it and then just harvesting their email and never ever giving them any value out of it, including very infrequently sending emails, or the emails that you do send have little to no value, then don't bother.
Yeah, totally. Andrew said not a huge fan of newsletter pop-ups. Quality subscribers seem to come organically with minimum prodding. I agree. I mean, I've used them in the past, obviously, and they can work, but a lot of people react very negatively to them. So I totally respect when somebody wants to avoid the pop-ups. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, the problem that I have is that pop-ups just continue to work. So
exactly.
They do work. They may not work on you and me. They work on somebody. And in mass, a lot of companies see a lot of results from prodding people to sign up for email. Especially if you can get them to sign up for email for 15% off their origination order or something that's meaningful. Like this order right now, if you buy from us at this moment, we'll give you a coupon code to buy. I will sign up for that email every day. And I hate email. Like I hate getting the spam, but I will sign up for that email. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, now I'm kind of curious, Kyle or Andrew. Like you mentioned, you guys don't like the not a huge fan of the pop-ups, and then Phil was saying that the problem is that they tend to work. So I'm curious, like where does that decision fall within your organization? Like for you guys as like developers, or what your role is? Is that something that you've decided against, or is that like the marketing department decided against it? I'm just curious, like I'm curious about that, kind of the structure of that decision process for you guys. Daniel's trolling me on the glasses. Yes, yeah. He said, "How about a nice big ugly sweater as well?" You know what, Daniel? Don't tempt me, because darn it, I will get. Matter of fact, you owe me some. You owe me some orange suspenders. So I don't want to hear a word out of you, friend, until I have those suspenders in hand.
Can we? I've got a thought of what we could do for one more teardown, because I do have a hard stop in 15 minutes.
Okay.
What if we play teardown roulette?
Okay.
I have an idea. What if I pop open Facebook and the very first site that has a social ad pointed at me, we go tear down. We can rip
There
it to
you go.
shreds. You like
There you
that?
go. Yeah, fantastic.
All right, let's do that. Hold on. Let me share my screen again.
I'll open up Twitter and we can see who finds one faster. They're telling me now everybody's making fun of my ear pods. Laura says they look like earrings. Actually, it's interesting. I heard I think it was on the How I Built This podcast where somebody was talking about a product. Actually, now that I think about it, it might have been a joke, but
Tracksmith. I got one.
You got one? Somebody was talking about basically customizable earbuds so that like guys or girls could like customize, like accessorize basically. Anyways,
Are you
and
ready?
thanks. Yeah. By the way, thanks a lot, Kyle and Andrew, for shooting us your site. That was a lot of fun. All right. Let's do this.
Okay, so here's Tracksmith. This is apparently it's a running brand because I'm super predictable. Everybody knows what I like to do. Also, before we get too far into this, can we give some more sponsor love real quick before we finish up? I want to hit up our friends at Vertex.
Need sales tax stuff done? Check out Vertex. Thanks. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
The people brief ads. Come on now.
So yeah, another sort of fashion brand. So you're going to see a lot more attention to like, big, pretty photography. That's sort of lifestyle photography. The thing they're doing right here, if you ask me, is they're doing exactly what I said that was a sort of a missed opportunity on Specs, which is give me the decision right up front, shop men, shop women, right? Like I want to know sort of where am I heading? And I think especially in running apparel, or fashion of any kind, I might have an opinion around, it's not necessarily unisex clothing, so it's kind of important. Also, I love this full bleed photography. You can't really pull it off if you don't have the photography to support it. And then lastly, like first take, this color bar at the top. Ooh, look at that. Holy cow, that's cool. This color bar at the top, that little piece of gold is super, like it makes it feel really polished. I love those.
The little color bar.
Yeah, this little color bar. And I love that that there's this like reverse out on the navigation. And it looks like it does it. Ooh, it collapses the navigation and it does that reverse out for the sticky header as well. So I like those.
I'm trying to look at my screen. I should probably be looking at yours because you're describing all these interaction things that are happening. I have no idea what you're talking about because I'm looking at something different. We did get a question from Kyle, by the way, on not liking Bootstrap and any thoughts you could share on that.
Yeah, I mean, we could come back to it. I just think that, if you're going to use a Bootstrap based theme, you're still going to get a bunch of Magento, base theme stuff that you're going to likely wind up not using it at all. It just makes it heavier. Like you're downloading a bunch of stuff that never gets used. Vice versa. That's just sort of my opinion on that, but it's just kind of part for the course.
Excellent. Fair enough.
So one thing that I like here is the navigation is visual. Again, fashion, lifestyle, kind of lends itself there. it's not heavily segmented either. Like from a jacket perspective, from tops and bottoms perspective, they could really go deep into their categorization, and they don't bother. Accessories in the same way.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't bother. They just leave it very top level, which I think is super nice.
I'm kind of curious because we just went from looking at a site that was, I think a little more B2B. I don't know if it's
Yeah, potentially.
safe
Yeah.
to say, right? More B2B with, $7,000 products and stuff like that, to this very slick B2C site. And I find, and for example, the question of the number of categories and in the top nav, and they have they have a very clean navigation experience. And I find myself thinking like, this is great. Like, this is beautiful. It's very slick. And thinking in terms of B2B, everything that's happening around B2B and stuff like that, I wonder, like, could this be pulled off for a B2B site?
I think it can. I think if you had the intention to do it, you really could do it, because there's a long tail. I think if you dug into if you dug into how people are actually interacting with your site and not the way that you think people interact with your site, you'll find that the 80-20 rule is in full effect. 20% of the links have 80% of the traffic. And if you use that as your cue, of which areas to highlight that people are going to the most, you'll help 80% of your customers in one fell swoop. And then the rest would probably be motivated to use site search anyway.
Yeah. And by the way, Kyle mentioned that it's actually B2C, but I don't know. He said it's for rich people basically, but so maybe it's like a prosumer category or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. This is I love the full bleed that you mentioned. Now I'm seeing that full bleed photos. Beautiful.
So they have a lot of like flat lay stuff, a little bit of action or a little bit of movement on the hover state, which is a desktop only sort of thing. I do like that I can see the color availability, which we had like criticized on specs. They don't have a shoppable homepage, which I'm bummed out about, but it does look like, it does look very like, this is super. What is this? Is this Shopify? It is. You know what I want to see? And maybe this might be a cool screencast series. I would love to see someone rebuild this site with Page Builder and Magento.
Oh, that's such a cool idea. Wow, that's a really cool idea.
Right now, you could absolutely rebuild the site with Page Builder. In particular, really something Digital's Accelerator, we have a full bleed Bluefoot widget because there isn't one out of the box. We have a full bleed widget, and I feel like it would make it super easy to do that.
Dude, I feel like I could. It's funny because I told you ever since you did the live coding stream, I've been wanting to do something similar, but I'm like, I don't really want to code anything right now. So that could be like a nice happy medium of just using the page builder to build something live without having to do much coding. Maybe I should do that.
I think maybe we should do it. I think you should do that.
Great idea.
You should absolutely do that. Okay. 6 minutes left. A few other thoughts. Just go to the PDP. Holy cow, the PDP is a full bleed image too. That's beautiful.
Oh, those full bleeds are so pretty.
Oh my gosh. So much money invested in photography here. I like this little design cue in that they've made the swatch is larger for the selected product.
That feels a little weird to me, actually. I'd rather see them the same size.
I'm seeing your screen. I don't know if you can. Are you clicked on me?
I'm seeing your screen. Yeah, I clicked on you. I'm clicked onto you. I almost rather see them the same size with just an outline, or the way the S, M, L, XL work.
Yeah, like remember when we were talking about accessibility? This particular site is terribly inaccessible. It looks it's like so bad. You cannot navigate any of this with a keyboard, which like it is what it is. Style guide.
Let's hit them with a couple of lawsuits. Hit them with a couple of what is it? ADA lawsuit.
ADA lawsuit. Yeah, you got that. No problem. I don't like this tabbed thing.
Nah.
That's
not at all.
No bueno. It's very light. The queue,
no bueno.
The queue is very light, like which one is selected, and that there's other things to look at.
Just
I think,
unnecessary. I
yeah,
mean, it's just there's
their
not very much content.
typography, their brand, and their photography really make the site. And look at the color. Like the color choices are super. This cream off-white is super slick, and matches really, really, really well with the actual products themselves. So it's very thoughtful. I love the typography. I kind of
Great
love all of
lifestyle
this.
shots. I
Very,
don't know. I like the titles as far as typography goes for the body content. I'm not thrilled with it. It's very small. It's hard to read. You know, that's sort of a common fashion style thing.
yeah. Oh, I mean, talking about inaccessibility, this type size is way too small, and it has like no contrast with the background, so you can't hardly
Yeah.
read this at all. I wonder what it looks like on a. Okay, this is a big gripe. All right, this basically almost is unusable on mobile by anyone in daylight. If you are looking at your phone and you're walking around outside and you're in daylight, you can't read any of this. I promise
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
The only thing you'll be able to see is add to cart and Horizon T. The in broad daylight, you'll have very low contrast issue. Like you will not be able to see the contrast of this product detail page. So the color call out, even the price will be completely lost on you. So
That's
a
a great
huge
point. That's a great point. And I love in general for questions around accessibility, talking about how they don't just affect people who are, you know, vision impaired, but also people that are situationally impaired. Like you said, if you're in sunlight, that's a great point there. The whole treatment of the price is interesting. Andrew mentioned it's interesting. The price is above the name of the product. Also, I noticed on the grid view, the price was really hard to see with that kind of brown color. I thought the price was.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it is. It's very light.
It is a
These are,
unique look, though. It's
it is.
definitely it's a unique look, which is cool.
It's interesting. Well, hey, you know, this is what you get when you take the very first social ad that comes across. But I do think it's really interesting seeing how like a non-Magento brand, especially in the fashion space, and active and lifestyle, just kind of seeing how they approach some things like it's super interesting. Also, I love there's some diversity of their photography. I feel like that wasn't obvious to me at the beginning. Here's a white dude. There's some white people. Lots of white.
Whites, bunch
All
of
white people
whites,
there.
too many whites.
No, I'm just saying. Like maybe I missed the mark on that one. No, it's yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to be that guy. I find
Far,
it interesting. I find it interesting that I didn't notice it until I noticed it.
yeah,
All right.
far too
Well.
many
Oh,
whites
they
in
have a
general.
Boston tea. Can they sell this?
What is that? A name brand?
No, the Boston Athletic Club licenses their brand for the Boston Marathon. I'm looking to see. It just looks it's in the same colors, but it's not actually technically using the Boston Athletic. Anyway, I thought maybe this was I thought this was the Boston Marathon branded, but it's not. It's just killer photography on a lookalike product. I got to jump. That was super fun.
That was a lot of fun. And wow. Thanks
That
everybody
hour went
for.
really fast.
Yeah, you want to unshare? Okay, there we go. We're back.
I want
Back
to know
live
what
and in
people thought of
person.
this. Leave us a comment, like and subscribe. Let us know if you want us to do more of these. That's kind of fun. And a really good use of the live and visual component of YouTube. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening by audio, thanks. And be sure to give us a 5-star on the iTunes and Google Play Store. If you are watching visually via youtube.com, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Darn it.
woo!
Smash that like button and ring that bell. Um, and I think that's about it. So we appreciate you very much. Please
Yeah.
patronize our sponsors and as well as Commerce Hero. Hey, let's not forget
Oh
about
yeah.
them.
Don't
They're a
forget the most
fantastic
important of all sponsors.
sponsor. Find a Magento developer for your next project or full-time hire. And that's about it. So we will see you next week.
Peace.
Oh, I got to click the button here.